Greg missed the message. He should have had John up here preaching this morning, bringing fire. That's awesome. Oh, I guess I could get my notebook to help me here. I think it's crazy how technology is continuing to advance, and what we have access to is like answering questions that we didn't know, years ago. Like they're pushing back they're doing samples in Egypt and actually proving that it's even going further back, and just continuing technology even with AI. And so I'm trying to prove some stuff as well. We do Walmart delivery. It's pretty crazy technology, right? You just tell them to bring stuff to your house. And so this morning before I left the house, I placed 2 Walmart pickups orders at the same time. I placed one for a whole chicken, and I placed another for a carton of eggs, because I want to see what comes first, the chicken or the egg. That was good, right? That's a lot better than Greg. Yes. Everybody give a clam cap saying better than Greg. Thank you. In honor of Greg, I will do a Greg joke. What did the horse say after it tripped? Help, I've fallen and I can't giddy up. Still better than Greg. I know. Well, the first one was mine. The second was a Greg type joke. Oh, man. I'm a lot funnier than Greg, and we all know it. All right. So Greg asked me to preach a couple weeks back, and I've had, time to prep, time to get ready, and the Lord's been, trying to help me get ready. And everything I got in the beginning was grace. I've never really done a deep dive on grace. For those of y'all that know me well, I don't preach often, not because, Greg doesn't allow me to. It's just something I just don't. It's kind of my thing. Like I feel more of like an administrative type role. I want to support, the church in any way possible, and when the opportunity is needed, I'm happy to step forward. But what I typically do when I do stuff is I deep dive into whatever I'm getting into, and I just obsess about whatever it is. And so I was like, all right, let's go through this grace process, because I've never done grace, and I wanted to understand it, and I couldn't figure out a title, because things change, and Charles wanted titles, and I gave him I didn't know which one to give him. I think he was going to make a couple of jokes with me and give me a bunch of different titles. I think we landed on. There's no telling what he landed on. What'd you land on, Charles? Oh, that's not the one we landed on. That's a joke that Charles is doing, because those of y'all that don't know, if y'all came on Wednesday mornings, Wednesday afternoons, I attend seminars for forestry forums that I have to go to for work, and I make this big joke about controlled burns, controlling and burning the forest. And so Charles literally put this up weeks ago, thinking as a joke, Joel's going to teach about controlled burns, and we'll get to controlled burns later, Charles. But no, I think it's grace that covers and grace that corrects is one of the ones I liked. And it's so funny, and I've had this happen so many times in my life when I'm studying something. It's crazy how God will give you a good example, real life, to kind of humble you and to prepare you for what you're doing. So I have a real life example, and so this week has been a rough week for Joel and Serena. We have been, it was rough. Wednesday was a rough day. We had some disciplinary issues with Isaac, and I say me and Serena. It was really just me. I was struggling. I was on the struggle bus. I guess I'll take y'all back a couple of years. I'll take you back to 35 years ago. I was raised in a household, and for those of y'all that I know it's 2026, and I know we are, I'm trying to be politically correct. So there's some things I'm going to talk about and things that I agree with, and I will say publicly, that might not be the norm. I believe in spanking your kids. All right. Yeah, I know. I know. I get it. I know. I get it. I know. Our liberal Travis is leaving. Um, um, so, I was raised with that premise in mind. A true story, 100% true story. I will tell y'all a 100% fact. I was whipped so hard that my nose bled. True story. Whipped on the behind until my nose bled. No, by that man right here. Right here. Child Protective Services, Paul Lincoln Gray. Whipped me. I've still got the marks. Moving on. Seriously, I was raised in a household that believed in discipline, and even more so, like it was more like a build up too for the spanking. Like it would be like, it would, the fear of the spanking and the process of it was almost worse than the actual spanking. And I just remember as a kid being like, man, my daddy's so mean to me. And all my friends were scared of my dad. They're scared he's going to whip them. We had a paddle at the house. I asked them to bring it, but they couldn't find it. I mean, we lived in different times back then. I lived in Castor in the 90s, which is kind of like everywhere else in the 70s. I got a spanking in first grade by my teacher. Yes. Yeah, Miss Nelson, if you're listening, yes, I remember. Glenda Nelson, she's still alive. She spanked me with a paddle. Like if a kid spanked Isaac at school with a paddle, I don't know what I would do. But we lived in different times, and it's an interesting thing. So we'll fast forward to this past Wednesday. So Isaac has always struggled with his emotions. He's got big emotions. If he feels like he loves you, he'll run up in the middle of you giving your, little greetings thing, give you a hug. Like he just has big emotions. He loves big. He cries big. He gets angry big. And he gets big spankings. And so, one of the things we struggled with when he was really younger was when he get angry, he would like hit himself, or he'd like scratch himself, or he bit himself once and broke skin. He got some stuff, cast out some demons. I mean, we done everything with a paddle. No, I've not hit him with a paddle yet. Can't find it. That's a fact. But Wednesday we had some issues with him being disciplined, and he was hurting Milo because Milo was crying in the car, and he didn't want Milo crying, and he was trying to make him stop. So he was scratching him, and he scratched his arms, and I'm telling you, when I saw it, I went red. I was so mad, and I was not as mad about Milo being hurt. This is a fact. I wasn't mad about Milo being hurt, because if you know my youngest, you could throw him on the ground. He is a little bull. He's fine. I come in, Milo's scratched up on his arm and on his neck. He cried for like 2 seconds, then he looked at me and goes, I wasn't upset that Milo got hurt. I had this real internal fear that I don't want to raise a mean child. I don't want to raise a mean kid. I don't want that. And so I had all these this guilt built up in me, and then I was just mad at him because not of what his actions, but mad at myself in the actions. And what did I do? Did I discipline right? Did I do it wrong? Did I go too far? Well, then fast forward later on that night, we get home. He's just big emotions because he got in trouble, and he's just still upset. And then he reached for Sophia and went to scratch her on her back. And let me tell you, big difference when you touch my baby girl. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna give y'all an object. I'm all about object lessons, and so I'll show y'all kind of what happened in the process. And actually, since we talked about technology, Charles helped me out with this one. So we have technology. So everybody's name is like in a random name generator in the church right now. So if you're a first-time visitor, I apologize. But your name is in a generator right now, and it's because I want to do an object lesson on how I spanked Isaac, and I want to show y'all the process so you can see what happened. And I don't want to call anybody out. I want it to be 100% random. I know there are people that would be willing to, but I want it to be fair and equal. So Charles, go ahead and put the random name generator. And this is 100% random. Let's go ahead, and whoever it stops on is 100% random. So just go ahead. It's a 100% random, not pre-planned. Go ahead, Charles. Go. All right, this is the person we're going to spank. Oh, no, well, let's see. It's going to be Grant. Oh, no. Oh, look at that. Oh, my gosh. It was so random, guys. So, Paul, come on up. It's the Holy Spirit that led this. And again, this is only for visual purposes. And this is so random, guys. This is so random. So this is really what happened. So I see Isaac do it, and Serena says, he did it again. And I was like, no. I said, Isaac, you get over here. And he's like, ah. I was like, okay, yeah. I said, Isaac, you pull your pants down. Go ahead, Paul. And so I'm telling him, said, Paul, Isaac, you pull your pants down. And I'm taking my belts off, and I'm looking at him, and I said, you put your hands on the wall. Turn around, Paul. Turn around. I said, you put your hands on the wall. Put your hands on the wall. That's what. And I said, you put your hands on the wall. This is exactly what I did. I'm not kidding. I had him, his wall was right here, and I was about to wall. And I go, facts. I did that, and he's freaked out. Lost it. I didn't. You can sit down. I really wanted to hit him good, but I didn't. I know. It was fun, guys. But no, I really did do that. I mean, I was like, I'm gonna show him, and I went. And it's because the truth is, I don't want to hurt my child. Yeah. Yeah, he did. Preach. Oh man. But I didn't really want to hurt him. I wanted to scare him enough, and I wanted to let him know that, like, you can't do that to people. And then I started, like, I just got all this guilt. I was like, man, am I disciplined in the right way? Like, I was talking to Serena. I was like upset with myself. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to like have my child scared of me. I don't want my child to be. I want my child to know I love them. I don't want to just. It was tough. It was tough, and I struggled with it, and I was already kind of working through grace with my scriptures, and kind of focusing, and so I was praying, and God just started revealing more and more that this story, that this incident with Isaac, although it was not intentionally, God didn't make Isaac scratch Milo to provide a message for me today. But in that process, God was able to work this in a perfect way that ties in a lot of the stuff. And he made me feel a lot better. So let's go ahead and do Hebrews 12, Charles. And which one are you on? Are you on ESV or NLT? NLT. Okay, I'll read up there then, so I'm with y'all. And have you forgotten the encouraging words God spoke to you as his children? He said, my child, don't make light of the Lord's discipline, and don't give up when he corrects you. For the Lord disciplines those he loves, and he punishes each one he accepts as his child. As you endure this divine discipline, remember that God is treating you as his own children. Whoever heard of a child who is never disciplined by its father? If God doesn't discipline you as he does all of his children, it means that you are illegitimate and are not really children at all. Since we respected our earthly fathers who disciplined us, shouldn't we submit even more to the discipline of the Father of our spirits and live forever? And for our earthly fathers disciplined us for a few years, doing the best they know how, making us bleed sometimes. But God's discipline is always good for us, so that we might share in his holiness. No discipline is enjoyable while it's happening. It's painful. But afterward, there will be a peaceful harvest of right living for those who are trained in this way. Let me tell you, he hit my heart. He pierced me. He's like, you're doing the work of the Lord when you whip your child. I'm just kidding. God disciplines those that he loves. You know, Isaac didn't understand completely why he was being disciplined. He definitely didn't like it, and I didn't like it either. But I love my son enough to watch him suffer because the alternative is far worse than mine and his comfort. Like, his discomfort and his fear of me in that moment is worth more than the outcome of him not being disciplined. I didn't do a deep dive into fatherhood in this time and who they're talking to, but I can get enough context from this scripture to give us a little insight about the fathers of that time. It specifically said that if a child is not disciplined, it means that he is an illegitimate child. That's what the word says. If a child is not disciplined, it means in this time he didn't have a father that loved him and he was illegitimate. Man. So if we put that in context, right? How many people, I mean, I'll be guilty as well, but how many Christians today have misunderstood God? We think that we're going through something and maybe God is against us, or that maybe, you know, why am I here in this place? Why have I done these things? Like, God, like, why are you punishing me? Like, what is this process for? Like, I'll be honest, I've been there, you know, and it's like just the same thing with Isaac. Isaac doesn't see love when he got whipped. He saw restriction. He didn't see protection. He saw punishment, right? See, what I wanted to show, I wanted to teach him restriction. I wanted to teach him punishment. I didn't want. Sorry, I'm getting my words mixed up. I didn't want him to see punishment. I wanted him to see protection for the future. But he doesn't get to see that now. Years later, he'll see that. Like, he'll understand. Like, you know, you're not supposed to hit people. You're not supposed to scratch people. Yeah, he gonna learn. You know, I'm not trying to control my son. Right? For those of you that know me, I'm all right. I love baseball. I was raised playing baseball, t-ball to kindergarten through 12th. I mean, I love baseball. I still love it to this day. I'm not musically inclined. I've never been good at music. Tried to play guitar once. I hated it. I can't carry a rhythm. I can't sing. I'm not good at music. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to control Isaac and Milo and Sophia to be in baseball and abandon music because it's what I want for them. Now, would I prefer them to be, no, I want to play baseball time? Yes. But what I would prefer more than my preference is for them to thrive in what they love. So I'm not trying to control them, right? And so, but I will control him when he's trying to do things that will be bad, right? Because I am trying to protect who he's becoming. That's my job, is to control and protect my children and what they're going to become. You know, I've been here with God as well, guys. I've been frustrated. I've been confused. I've been angry. Why are you trying to do this to me? And, you know, give y'all a little background. I know everybody doesn't know the whole story, but when Serena was pregnant with Isaac, our firstborn, she got COVID, went in the hospital, had to go on life support. While she was pregnant, she delivered Isaac at 26 weeks, 2 pounds, 1 ounce. I was told by the doctors to prepare that my wife and my child might not make it. Percentages were low for Serena to make it. Isaac was it was rough times. I was going through some fire. I was going through some discipline, right? I was going through some trials and some tribulations. And there were some times early on that I felt like Isaac did on Wednesday. I don't understand. I don't want to put my hands on the wall, right? I don't want to pull my pants down. Like, and I'm doing that metaphorically, but it was a real feeling, right? You know, I had just become, I've always been very in tune with generational blessings and generational favor that I carry. I've never shied away from it. Doors open for me that they don't open for normal people. When I try something, I succeed at it. I'm very honest in that, and it's not an arrogant thing. It is the fact that my grandfather's grandfather, my dad, all of the people before me have paved a way for me to inherit generational blessings, generational favor. All right, it's a fact. I've got it, and my children will have it. And so I step into this role. I remove myself from the covering of my family. I choose a wife to live my life with, to start a family. We get pregnant, and my first act as a father is having to choose to spend time with my son in the NICU, or my wife in the hospital who's in ICU. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, God, where's the generational blessings at? Where is it at? Like, you're asking me to do things, and I don't deserve this. What happens if my wife dies? What happens if my son dies? Why am I here? I went through that process. But God saw what he was forming, not only in me, but in Serena and Isaac and every person that we touched in that process. And it was more important than what I was feeling at that time. And it brings up a very important balance of protection and process. Okay? Grace removes our eternal punishment that we deserve, but grace does not remove the temporary process to fulfill our calling. I've heard my whole life, God's grace, right? Grace is what we get to go to heaven. It removes what we deserve, eternal damnation. But like I said again, grace does not remove a temporary process. God's grace says, you will not face my wrath, but you will still work through my refining process. Go ahead and pull up 1 Peter 6 through 7. This is 1 Peter chapter 1, and right before all these verses, it was talking about salvation and the goodness of God being able, Jesus raising from the dead. And it says, so be truly glad, there is wonderful joy ahead, even though you must endure many trials for a little while. These trials will show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold. Though your faith is far more precious than mere gold, so when your faith remains strong through many trials, it will bring you praise and glory and honor on the day when Jesus Christ is revealed to the world. See, fire doesn't destroy gold. When people find like a bunch of gold, they have to stick it in a refining process, and they melt it down, and it melts out all the impurities. And that's the reference he uses. He uses that the purest of faith is one that has been tested by fire. If your faith has not been put through a furnace and fire, then it is not the purest form of faith. But yet, when most people get put in the furnace, they say, where is my God? I don't have the faith for this. And what he's saying is, you have the faith. Allow me to burn the impurities. Allow me to go through the process to get you to where you need to be, which is a faith that literally can move mountains. Because the call that I have on each and every person in here's life is to have a next step, a further step in the process. Man. Is Brandon still in here? Or did he step out? Brandon Burr, is he in here still? He stepped out. God's got something for when he comes back in, if he does. Wow. All right. I asked God to help me because I didn't want to put my kids through fire. I didn't want to. I don't want to continuously put my kids through these fire. I've asked God to help me. And this is the prayer that I had Wednesday night. And I'd already had some of the stuff prepared. But God reminded me of the Israelites and their journey in the wilderness. Okay? I have used the story of the Israelites being delivered from delivered from Egypt so many times as in my studies, in my preaching. It's because it encompasses an entire 450 years or 500 years, I think it's a total process of a generation of people that were known as God's chosen people. All right, so give y'all some context. Israelites are enslaved. They're in Egypt, and God comes and he, by grace, delivers them from Egypt and sends them into the promised land. I'm gonna give y'all some scripture, all right? But they're people that literally saw all the things. They knew the promised land was their promised land, literally a place that was extremely fertile, and it was being occupied by other people. But they knew it was theirs, and God said it was theirs. And so when they got delivered from Egypt, they saw them literally do some wild stuff. The plagues, the parting the Red Sea, all of these things. And they're like, all right, we're going. And he delivers them into a desert for 40 years where they walk around a mountain. They have no food. They got no jobs. Their pets' heads are falling off. And they have nothing. They literally have nothing. And it's crazy. Like, and we'll go ahead and put the scripture. Deuteronomy 8:2-5. And this is years later talking about the process and trying to get them to understand that the faith that they have is enough to get the promised land. It says, remember how the Lord your God led you through the wilderness for these 40 years, humbling you and testing you to prove your character and to find out whether or not you would obey his commands. Yes, he humbled you by letting you go hungry, and then he fed you with manna, a food previously unknown to you, literally bread that would come out the ground, and your ancestors. And he did it to teach you that people do not live by bread alone. Rather, we live by every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. For these 40 years, your clothes didn't wear out and your feet didn't blister. So what's crazy, literally, their clothes didn't wear out. So when you had kids to start the process, the clothes magically grew with them because they're in a desert, so they can't make clothes. They weren't killing animals for leathers and skins and do things. They didn't have wheat to begin to, they couldn't make anything. Everything they had was provided. Magical growth of clothes that never wore out. They didn't have to shop at all. They had the same shoes the whole time that grew with them. Their feet never blistered or swollen. That's such a crazy thing to me. All right, think about it. Just as a parent disciplines a child, the Lord your God disciplines you for your own good. At the end of all of this stuff, the scripture that is left is think about everything that God did for the Israelites. Just as a parent disciplines a child, the Lord your God disciplines you for your own good. You see, the end result for the Israelites was the promised land, but he had to get them to a place where they were able to accept it. If he just gave it to them without having the faith and the refinement that it took to take it, they would have lost it instantaneously. Because proper discipline is always preparation for a better future. God's grace, again, removed his children from slavery and bondage, but it did not remove them from their temporary and necessary development. Sustaining the promised land was always more important than the instant gratification of delivering the promise he gave to Abraham. 40 years of preparation. But that preparation was a promise for something that was promised to their generations years before. So think about that. Abraham was promised the promised land, that his children would inherit it. And it took a long time of process and refining to get to that area. My goal as a parent, and this is not just exclusively for parents, but this is what my goal is. My goal is to pass down what my father passed down to me. It is my main goal in this life, is to be a good husband to my wife and to be a good father to my children and instill faith and blessings that will pass down generations to generations. It's the most important thing I think that I can do in this world. The most important. Because of what my parents did to me, I was able to influence the people around me and ultimately become a good Christian, right? To be able to influence the people around me. And I think that if we take the process of if the reason that I am the way that I am, and the ground that was laid before me, there was times I didn't like it. So as you're going through your life, there are going to be times that you don't like the situation that you're in. You're not going to like it. It's going to be uncomfortable. But if you go into uncomfortable situations with the mindset that I am in a refining process, and your mindset shifts to understand the process, you can see the end result and get through it the way James talks about. Count it joy when you're tried and when you're tested, right? That's what people don't get, is that he didn't just count it joy to have to be in discomfort. He knew that he was being tested. He knew that there was a process taking place, and he acknowledged it when it was happening. And the same thing happened for me when I was with Serena. At some point, I don't know what time it was, but my mindset shifted to acknowledge that I am being refined in this point in time, right now. The actions that I do today will affect my children's children. Man, what a weight to carry. What a burden to carry as a father or as a Christian. But it is one that we are called to. We are charged. If we step into the Word and we say that I will do whatever you ask us to do, God, all right. You're asking in that exact example to be stepped into a fire furnace and burn all of your impurities off. And it is not comfortable, guys. But I'm here to tell you that the end result is way more valuable than your internal pleasures. I can even think about, your body in general. We'll do an extreme example before I close out. But an extreme example is heroin addicts, right? When they get addicted to heroin, they cannot get off of it without going through some serious pain. Their body goes into withdrawals. Really, any kind of thing that your body gets addicted to, it ain't fun to go. It's not fun to get out of the process. It's not fun to get out of the addiction that people get into. Our bodies cling to the things that they're comfortable with. Sodas. I'll give you a good example. Obviously, I'm not Catholic, but I did Lent this year because I thought it was still a good practice to go and fast something. So I really thought hard, what can I actually fast this year that is attainable and difficult? Like, what would be the most difficult thing that's attainable for me? And I say that attainable because I still have to live in the world with my job. But God said, all right, you drink a lot of caffeine. Go caffeine free. Let me tell y'all, those first couple of days was rough. My head was hurting. I had a headache. I was grumpy. What's really crazy is after you get about 7 to 12 days in, you're way more level. You don't have spikes of energy. You're way more level throughout the day because your body knows what is good for you. There's so much stuff that we put in our body that is not good for us that we get addicted to. And if you choose to go through a refining process with your body, the body lines up with the spiritual. When you do the things you're supposed to do and treat your body as temples, your body will respond and act accordingly. But if you put junk inside of it, your body will react and respond accordingly. I don't know who that's for, but it's for real. All right. So I'm getting a little late. I'm not going to do a full-on altar call. But what I will do is that if there are anybody in here that has felt that has responded to wanting what was passed down to me, right? Generational blessings for your children. Whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether you don't have kids and you want kids in the future, right? If you want to pass down that generational blessing, I'm not going to do a whole long drawn-out band come up spectacle. If you want that, we're going to be right over here after church, and I'm going to let my dad and myself lay hands on you for generational blessings. So, stand to your feet. Dear Lord, I thank you for this day. I thank you that you love us enough